Hey, everybody. Welcome to the season finale of our maternal mental health series. This is Natalie Fikac from the Texas Institute for Excellence in Mental Health, and you're listening to Talking Beyond Trauma. Becoming a mother is often described as one of life's most beautiful experiences. But what about the parts that we don't see on social media? The sleepless nights, moments of doubt, and silent struggles. This season, we've journeyed through the complexities of motherhood together, the highs and lows of pregnancy, letting go of expectations, the value of support networks, and much more. Today, we're wrapping up this powerful series with our guest, Amanda Boquist, Senior Administrative Program Coordinator at TIMH and mother of two. We'll dive into social media and motherhood, how non-moms can support new moms, and nuggets of knowledge for everyone listening. Before we begin, let's recognize that motherhood comes in all forms. We want to honor and respect everyone's unique journey as a mother. And whether you're a new mom, an experienced parent, or someone supporting a mother, this podcast is just for you. Thanks for joining us. I do have one other topic I just want to bring up and get your thoughts on.
Sure.
Do you feel, or do you have an opinion or a thought on how social media affects your role as a mother? And I ask that because I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Yes, MySpace came out when they were real little, and then Facebook when they were in their, I just think it's way different.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious.
Unless you are just not on social media, full stop, there's no way it doesn't influence. We were talking earlier today how, there was a tough event in your home, and you went to social media and said, well, all of these other families look so perfectly happy and beautiful. And I turned to you and said, that's a lie. That's not when you go to social media, is when you're struggling. No comparative suffering. It's tough. It's tough to feel like if you're not presented to the world in this perfect light with this perfect family and everyone's smiling and has matching outfits and the scene is set and the photo is edited just right, that your family is a hot mess.
And aren't we all?
100%. 100%. Yes, this is the first year. This is so lame, but one of the things I was so excited about growing a family is doing the Christmas cards.
Yeah.
That was a big deal to me, to have, professional photos done and sending out the beautiful Christmas cards. And I do love it. I love to do it.
And they're always great.
But that is not 100% of the time what we look like. That is maybe 2% of the time of what we look like.
Two's good. That's real good.
The reality is that what people put out on social media is going to be their best foot. It's like going into an interview, right? You're not going to go into an interview looking disheveled with, soda in your hand and loud. You're going to put on a suit. You're going to make sure you're showered. You're going to, put your best foot forward, because that's how you want to be presented to the world at large, the World Wide Web, right? So people are not necessarily putting their worst moments on social media. I will say, I think as this becomes more common, as we continue to talk about and learn and normalize addressing mental health, there are more people who are sharing real moments on social media and sharing, yes, there are highs, but there are lots of lows too. And there are lots of challenging moments. And allowing us to find this piece of common humanity where we're all sharing in this journey together and doing the best that we can. I don't know what the account is called, but there's a toddler account that talks about the daily how I made my toddler mad. And it's typically people posting pictures of their toddler having a hysteria fit on the floor. And it's because I wouldn't let him pull the apple core out of the trash can for lunch. Some absurd thing. I wouldn't let him flush his G.I. Joe down the toilet. Like, there's ridiculous things, right? And it's like, yeah, that is the real life situations that we're dealing with that are not really presented on social media. But also, there are people who are providing real, tangible advice and resources for new moms, expecting moms, old moms, to kind of help them walk that walk. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that social media, although can be challenging and hindering on some level, there's a lot of space for people to be authentic and to learn and to grow too. So it's not all bad.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts or advice for new moms?
Don't go on social media. No, I'm kidding. I think it's okay to share carefully. I would also say that sometimes the world can be a scary place, and maybe to be cautious but authentic. If you want to share and you choose to be a presence on social media, other people are looking at that. And, there's nothing wrong with sharing the perfect picture or the perfect situation and the great things that are happening in your life. People want to know that too. But when it becomes a pressure point, when it becomes, negative comments, how moms should do things a certain way, that's not helpful to anybody, and it's really just unkind. So I would say if you encounter any of those things, block them, ignore them, shut it down. Don't let it invade your space.
Yeah. I think even back to, thank you for sharing that, pre-social media, when my boys were having developmental milestones, like saying their first word, eating their first vegetable, taking their first steps, running, riding their bike. And all three of them did it at different times.
Sure.
The story I'm telling myself is that if I would have had social media, I would have been a basket case to think, oh my gosh, Sherry down the road just had a baby the same month I did, and her baby's already walking and mine's not. And so then you start making up this story like, I've done something wrong. There's something wrong with my child.
Yep.
And then it affects your mental health. And so can you speak to kind of that kind of lens?
Yes. And that happens off social media as well, just in personal interactions. In fact, I have a neighbor who we had our kids 6 weeks apart, and kids develop at different stages and different ages, and there's not a one size fits all. And I think there's truth in this mother's intuition that people speak about.
Sure.
If you feel like something is wrong with your kid, go get it checked out.
For sure.
Ask questions. Seek advice and knowledge and information. Don't ask the world. Don't ask social media. I think it's okay to, share in a safe space and say, hey, do you think that this might be an indicator? My almost 2-year-old isn't really talking yet. And my older son talked at a very early age. And so there have been some conversations between my husband and I to say, like, is there something wrong? Should we, does he need an intervention of some sort? And, I think those are the moments when you really rely on your community and just trust your intuition. Yeah, kids are all going to hit different milestones at different stages. And sometimes there is something wrong and there needs to be an intervention. And that's okay too.
Right. Thank you for addressing that. And even just thinking about the journey of being a mom, right? Where my friend down the road, let's just say, friend I'm friends with on social media has already dropped all her baby weight, and she has a baby makeover coming up, and she and her husband have the perfect marriage, and he helps with everything at night. He wakes up and feeds the baby, and then I get to sleep, and I wake up all refreshed. Like those kinds of sharings too. Like, does that happen a lot?
Maybe. To be perfectly honest, I don't allow it in my space. It's not productive to me. It's just not. Those people may be, I'm sure there are out there in the world. They're just not in my space. So, to that I say the grass is always greener. and we never know what goes on behind closed doors. And I really kind of just, I find more and more that my generation really have kind of taken a step back from social media. A lot of people are just straight up not on it, or very minimally so. Use it for maybe gathering information and not sharing out information.
Yeah,
and
which can also be difficult.
Can be. But yeah, I'm sure that those types of things exist, but not for me. Not for me personally.
That's amazing. Sounds like there's been a boundary put up, and that's been helpful. And I would imagine that there are a lot of people that don't have that boundary, and I'm wondering if it does affect their mental health, and especially as difficult as it can be for mothers anyways.
I think finding, thinking through, and we talked about emotional intelligence a little bit earlier, but, finding those things and really kind of taking a hard look at those things and saying, is this serving me? Is this benefiting me in my personal journey of parenting and in my mental health and in my family's mental health and my children? And if the answer is no, get rid of it. That sounds easier than it probably is in reality. But truth be told, I think that there's a lot of power in owning that and knowing that something else could be much more positive for your life and for your journey, because they're not always easy journeys. I think more often than not, they're harder than we expected. Maybe.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about, we probably have a lot of listeners who are not mothers.
Sure.
I'm hoping we do anyways. And I'm wondering, from your experience, from a mom's perspective, do you have any thoughts about how people who are not moms might be able to support you?
Yeah, I mean, certainly not all of us are moms, and we need those people's support. Absolutely. I think that could look, a variety of ways. The thing that sticks in my mind right away is that postpartum support. For me, I was so in the weeds, and everybody wants to come over and see the baby. And first-time mom, and I was like, you can't bring germs near my child. But what I needed was for someone to come and clean my house, or someone to, when I had my second son, take my older son for a play date. Anticipating what the everyday needs are or tasks are that we do that maybe aren't able to get done. And so it could be dropping off a hot meal on the front porch. For me, a lot of support was simply people telling me, congratulations, we can't wait to meet the baby on your terms. And allowing me the space to say, we're not going to have company for 2 or 3 weeks, and that's okay. People weren't hounding me, when can we come, when can we come, when can we come? And then I had this kind of guilt about oh, well, I don't know, and I don't feel, it was hard to just say no, you can't come, even though that's what I wanted to say. And so maybe just recognizing that, the first few weeks, a month even, or whatever time the mom decides that she wants that alone time with her child and maybe her partner, just kind of giving the space to be okay with that. I had people say, I'm going to drop off a meal on your front porch. I don't need to come in. We're not even going to ring the bell, but it's there. So It was just kind of a need that they knew that we had, while also allowing me to have that time with my newborn.
Yeah. And so you're taking me way, way back.
Is that similar to your experience, or no?
No. I mean, we had our first son within 4 weeks of him being born. We moved 3 hours away and sold our house and got new jobs. And when we had our second son, it was the same. We moved. It's
a lot of transition at the same time.
It was a lot. And so, but that, I wish I would have had that, right? I think that would have been so helpful. I'm wondering, you're talking about the experience of a newborn. You're still a mom, right?
Sure.
Now your boys are almost 2 and 7. Are there things even now that would be helpful for you as a mom?
I would say one of the bigger challenges is finding time with my partner. Everyone is tapped emotionally and drained at the end of the day, typically, that there's little time left for anything. And so carving out and being intentional with spending quality time together. And, I feel very fortunate that I have a group of mom friends where we have all kind of laid a ground rule that says, if someone needs something, it's okay to ask. And so I feel comfortable enough with a very small group of women who I can say, hey, can you take the kids for 2 hours tonight and let my husband and I go to dinner? Or, whatever that looks like. That allows us to kind of share. And so then we reciprocate. Yeah. So no one has to find a babysitter or pay for a babysitter. And the kids love to play together too. But anybody who's willing to babysit at any time, even if the mom doesn't have a partner, allowing space to just breathe and be in the quiet. I think that I did not realize the overstimulation. We hear moms all the time saying like, "You can't, don't touch me anymore. I'm touched out," because there is no personal space anymore. My husband and I joked the other day. My older son, they were roughhousing and gave my husband a really nice shiner. And he joked and was like, "I didn't realize that parenting would be a contact sport." Like, this is wild, and so it's at an energy level that is so high for such extended periods of time that sometimes it's hard to just come down from that. Mm-hmm. And then we recognize that does not bode well for our mental health. We need that. Our brains need that rest. So mm-hmm. I would say, find your people.
Yeah.
And share roles as best you can.
Yeah, and man,
it's truly life-changing.
Important.
Yeah,
find your people where you can be your authentic, vulnerable self and talk about the wildness of the stage of your children and maybe your relationship with your partner.
Yeah,
I'm reflecting because my boys are obviously much older now. 26, 24, 19. And as you're speaking, I'm thinking about their stages of toddler life and infant life, elementary age, junior high, high school, leaving now, we're empty nesters. And I think it would have been so nice to have had that.
Yeah.
Because we didn't for reasons just of like moving so much
Sure.
with my husband's job and things. But even now, like I don't think the needs are much different. And that when I talk about my children who are still the joys of my life, it's important to be with people who are not going to judge you based on what's happening with your children and the choices that they may or may not be making. Being around people who will be an empathic or an empathetic listener and not judge. And being around people that you can be your authentic, vulnerable self around. And gosh, I just talked about empathy with a group a couple hours ago and just the importance of, there's very little, like Amanda, you're a good friend of mine. I share a lot with you about my boys. And I know that you're not going to judge. And after I share, like I feel so much better. You haven't fixed anything.
Yep, good. No.
You haven't fixed. Like their problems are just, they still have some stuff. But just being that listening ear is so helpful. So I think if I had to give any like suggestions for anyone who maybe isn't a mother, and how to support a mother, it's be a good friend.
Yeah, so true.
And that could look different, whether they are infants or toddlers or elementary.
and ask the mom what they need, because they may not have the energy or the brain space to say or to even like coherently think about what they need. So we constantly ask, like, how can I support you?
It is the one phrase I think that people should have at the ready at all times. How can I support you? I think just to piggyback on that, that's such a good point, Natalie, because yes, absolutely be the friend that you would want. But also don't be afraid to ask the partner what the mom needs.
Yes. Or ask the partner what they need.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Because they have needs too. Like, right, this is about maternal mental health.
Right.
But it's all connected.
Right. And sometimes, I mean, my partner kind of called me out and said, there's something off because he saw me more often than not. But I can imagine a situation in which someone would ask him, like, hey, how's Amanda doing? And he might say, she's not well and I don't know what to do. And then because I've created this vulnerable, authentic space with my friends, one of my friends might say, hey, Matt's worried about you. Like, tell me more about how you're doing. And so just kind of opening up that conversation in some capacity, I think is, really, really helpful.
We are moving into our nuggets of knowledge section.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Which is, I'm going to ask a question, and you are going to very quickly answer.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll do my best.
Favorite mom read?
Ooh. This one's top of mind because I just finished it, but it's called Good Inside by Dr. Becky Kennedy. Also highly recommend her podcast. She's phenomenal. Or her TED Talks. We'll link those in the show notes.
Along the same lines, favorite mom blog or parenting blog?
I don't read a lot of blogs, but Instagram accounts, which will lead to blogs, I think the account Big Little Feelings, they're my go-to.
Okay. Favorite item that you received from someone after you had a baby?
I would say I got some really soft pajamas that were like button front so that they were good for nursing. I lived in pajamas for weeks, so It was nice to feel like a clean pair of soft, cozy jammies.
You talked a lot about like all the things that encompass just being an adult taking care of a family. There's house stuff and there's like living stuff and groceries and a place that you're living to keep in order. What is your best tip for keeping your house in order? Or what worked for you?
When I was pregnant with my first child, I'm pretty close with my mom. And she recognized or maybe had some, call it mother's intuition, that I would be an overly anxious parent. And she gave me another book. And I think it was more about the message rather than what was actually in the book. But it's called The Good Enough Parent. Oh. And it talks about the fact that you're never going to be perfect, and all you need to be is good enough. And it talks about letting the things go that don't really matter. And so my house didn't get clean, and I had to let it go. So that's my tip is like focus on the things that need your energy in that moment, and the rest will get done when it needs to get done. Yeah.
I love that. Best quick meal for new mom?
Ooh. Gosh, there are so many. And I was that person who like freezer prepped all the things up to and including my toddler's baby food. Didn't do that the second time around. Just, different levels of capacity there. But one of my favorites is it's a crock pot meal, but throw some chicken breasts in the crock pot and then a whole jar of salsa, just jarred salsa, and maybe a little bit of, cumin, salt, pepper, whatever, some like taco spices basically. Throw the lid on and let it go for like 6 hours. And then you just shred it. And it is like the most delicious taco meat. And you could throw it on a salad. You could throw it in a tortilla. It is delicious. Delicious.
Sounds amazing.
And so easy.
That's so easy.
Yeah. You need
My
that.
crock pot always seems to overheat. And like you put it on warm and the cheese is like burnt on the side.
Don't put cheese in it.
Oh, well, that's what I do.
No. You got to build the taco after.
No. I'm talking like I need a different crock pot. Okay. Quick, easy, middle of the night thing.
My brain immediately went to the middle night snack. My favorite pregnancy snack. Is that what you're talking about?
Sure.
Was graham crackers with peanut butter and like teeny tiny, like the mini chocolate chips, dark chocolate. And you'd put them on there and you just I would go to bed. I would actually make it before I went to sleep because I knew I would wake up hungry. Especially breastfeeding, you are ravenous. Your body is spending so much energy that you're hungry all of the time. And so I would make like 2 and put them on a plate by my bedside so that I knew when I woke up in the middle of the night, I didn't even have to open my eyes. I just reach over and grab it. That's my favorite midnight snack for sure. Sometimes I have it now just as a little treat, but
probably is nostalgic for you.
Yeah, maybe. Still delicious.
Okay, so new mom, laundry is no joke.
Laundry
Lots of blowouts.
No joke.
Lots of spit up.
Mm-hmm.
Any tips?
It doesn't last forever. I mean, there's no getting around it, unfortunately. Just know that it doesn't last forever. It's gross and smelly, and that is just part of the journey.
And their clothes are so tiny. So it's only like a small load. When they're teenagers and there's grass stains and stuff, like that's a whole different ballgame. Okay. Quick self-preservation tip.
Yeah. Get as much sleep as you can. I always hated when people said, you should sleep when the baby sleeps. And I'm like, that's when I do laundry and clean my house and do all the other things. That doesn't work. But our brains really, really need that rest. So when you can, find 5 or 20 minutes to rest as best you can. I liked to read while I was holding my child, like while he was sleeping. I mean, this is new moms as parents for, but like something to take my brain away, like just a fiction novel or whatnot, to kind of get out of the heaviness and the challenges that were facing me. But also studies show us that we get oxytocin and dopamine when we're holding babies. And so I also needed that in the moment. It's a way to bond and connect with your child while also leaving your brain elsewhere.
I love that.
And I would say just know that it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah. Number 1 trust-building behavior is asking for help.
Yep.
As a brand new mom, favorite thing that you did or someone did for you to take care of you?
I think just recognizing, I'm like getting teary because it just saved me, I feel like. But really just speaking up and recognizing that I needed help and that I wasn't doing it for myself. Like I owe my husband a debt of gratitude for just saying that one phrase was like, I think something's wrong. I'm getting choked up about it, but will forever be.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
I guess I'll just say that, I haven't directly referenced, many of the supports or resources that I used throughout my journey, but we can link those in our show notes. There's several. There's lots out there, but I'm happy to share a few that I really support and that really supported me throughout my journey. So we'll share those in the show notes if anybody wants to look at those. But thanks for having me. This was amazing.
It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for sharing your journey.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of our maternal mental health series. We hope our stories, insights, and candid conversations have brought you comfort and a sense of community. I want to give a heartfelt thank you to Amanda for her incredible authenticity, empathy, and vulnerability throughout this process. It's not easy to revisit the challenging and painful moments that come with motherhood, but it helps remind us all that we're never alone. It's been an honor to share this experience with you as a friend and a colleague. If you enjoyed this series, we invite you to subscribe, leave a review, or share with others who might find it helpful. To stay connected with us and find more resources, follow the Texas Institute for Excellence in Mental Health on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next season of Talking Beyond Trauma.
The MHTTC's primary goal is to provide free training, share best practices, and offer ongoing support and consultation to professionals serving individuals with mental health challenges. We would like to extend our gratitude to our guest, Amanda Boquist, and our host, Dr. Natalie Fikac, for their contribution to this discussion. Lastly, we would like to acknowledge the hard work of our dedicated team, without whom this project would not have been possible. Season 3 was produced by the communications team here at the Texas Institute for Excellence in Mental Health. It was recorded and edited by Mckenzie Bentley. Our theme music is by Scooter Holiday. The opinions expressed in this presentation are the views of our speakers and do not reflect the official position of the Department of Health and Human Services, or SAMHSA. If you'd like more information on this and other MHTTC products in the South-Southwest region, you can find a link in the episode description. This session was pre-recorded. We appreciate your participation and hope the discussion helped your journey. Be well. Thank you for tuning in to our production of Talking Beyond Trauma.